Emirates, of course, being the host airline of the Dubai Airshow, they came in strong with more than $50 billion worth of aircraft orders.
Hi, I'm Sarah Forster, news editor with The National, and welcome to a very special edition of A Closer Look. As you can see, we're not in the studio this week. We are at the Dubai Airshow 2023. It's a huge deal, and we've managed to steal our aviation reporter for just a snippet of time to get her valuable thoughts on this event. And she joins me now. Dina Camel, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So now, you've been down here every day so far this week. Now, there's one thing that this show is renowned for, and that's the big deals that are signed, right, between the real heavy hitters of the aviation industry. Do you want to tell me a little bit about those deals that have been inked this week?
Absolutely. So the Dubai Airshow comes hot on the heels of the Paris Airshow that had some record orders there, and Dubai is obviously not one to disappoint. So on the very first day of the Airshow, we saw the national UAE carriers come in strong with their orders. These have been highly anticipated, long awaited. Emirates, of course, being the host airline of the Dubai Airshow, they came in strong with more than $50 billion worth of aircraft orders. Wide bodies, of course, that's what they do. So additional 777Xs, two variants, and some additional Boeing 787 Dreamliners. The real surprise, of course, came with their sister carrier, Fly Dubai, who is traditionally an operator of narrow bodies. We saw them come in with a big surprise of ordering 30 Boeing 787 Dreamliners valued at around $11 billion. So that was a big deal and very different from the model that they've been, the narrow body model they've been operating. Clearly the wide bodies will take them into further markets, larger markets, beyond their flying range currently. So that was a very exciting start to the air show.
Incredible, yeah. We've also had an announcement about a new engineering facility from Emirates, is that right?
Yes, correct. And also Fly Dubai has announced that they are going to set up their own pilot training facility, which is going to save them a lot of money, something that they used to outsource before. This is something that they're now doing in-house, and their logic is that it's going to save them a lot of money because as a growing airline, this is something that they would get better value of doing in-house. They are almost 15 years old now. They are adding and hiring more and more pilots and cabin crew, so having their own in-house resources makes a lot of sense at this time as they become a more maturing airline. Other than that, we've also seen regional airlines bringing it in strong. Egypt Air ordered Airbus A350 wide bodies for the first time in their fleet, which again also takes them further, and it's part of their growth plans. They want to have 125 planes in the next 5 years from 91 now, and this is part of expanding their route network. They want to go as far as potentially Shanghai, potentially Los Angeles. So the market is really showing a lot of confidence in the continuity of air travel demand.
Well, this is exactly what I was going to say next, was that, you know, you've been down here 3 days now. Can we safely say that the, post-pandemic slump is finished? I mean, it seems pretty thriving down here.
Absolutely. I mean, now we can say that airlines are beyond, at least airlines in the region, are beyond the phase of recovery and very much into the phase of accelerated growth. And placing these wide bodies is a mark of confidence in that continued growth in travel demand. It's also a mark of the fact that delivery slots for these airplanes are very scarce, very few. The plane manufacturers have very long backlogs that extend into 2030, and all the airlines are now, moving very quickly to place orders so that they can get their position in the queue, so they can line up and get their deliveries on time, so that they can meet the continued growth. One particular trend that we are noticing this year is the recovery of the wide-body aircraft market. And this is particularly important because this is a market that had been lagging behind narrow bodies after the pandemic. It's harder to fill larger aircraft, obviously, when demand is weak, and the demand for wide bodies is back, signaling that there's more demand to fill these airplanes. So hence we're seeing the likes of Emirates have more 777Xs into their fleet, and that of course secures them for the future. After their Airbus A380s, of course a program that's come to the end of its production, it's going to be with Emirates into the mid-2030s, 2040s. Beyond that, they need to plan for their fleet, and that's where the 777Xs come in. So they're planning for their next phase of growth.
Absolutely. Well, that's what a good business does, right? So you can see we're down here. You can probably hear the air show overhead. You can see we're in front of this incredible, I want to say helicopter. I mean, it's not just airplanes. Obviously, it's not just airplanes down here. It's an unbelievable show to come down and actually get the privilege to see. We are now at DWC Airport. However, there is some news coming out of DXB Airport, Dubai International Airport. Dina, you spoke to Paul Griffiths. Tell us a bit about that.
Absolutely. Paul Griffiths, DXB today announced earlier this morning that they've revised their forecast upwards again for the third time actually this year. And they are hopeful, or they forecast that this year they are going to exceed actually their pre-pandemic levels for the first time in 2023 in terms of passenger numbers. So they're recording more than 83.6 million actually passengers this year is what they're hoping to end the year with in 2023, and that's above their 2019 numbers of 83.4 million. When I spoke to Mr. Paul Griffiths today at the Dubai Airshow, he says he's hopeful for this continued growth because, as we just spoke, the UAE carriers are getting deliveries of these airplanes in the next few years. So, for example, Emirates will get delivery of their first Airbus A350 in the summer of 2024. He sees continued interest from foreign airline customers coming to DXB. He sees growth in the point-to-point travel market, so more people coming to Dubai as their final destination. So he's quite hopeful that in 2024 that growth will continue. And in fact, he says in 2025 they will exceed the 90 million passenger mark for the first time, which is quite the milestone for them.
Yes, onwards and upwards, I think, for Emirates and a lot of airlines in this region. Now, it would be remiss for us to be at a show like this and not discuss the effects of conflict in the region. At the time of recording, the conflict between Gaza and Israel has been going on for weeks. How is this affecting what we're seeing here at this air show?
Absolutely, that's a great question. First of all, I think all the executives that we've spoken to here have hoped for a swift end to the war and the humanitarian cost to the war more specifically, but looking into the business aspect of how it affects them. There are several separate markets here to talk about. So the markets that are closest to the region of the conflict, so closer to the borders of Israel, those are the markets that are most affected and that are seeing the most impact. So for example, the CEO of Royal Jordanian, Mr. Samir Majali, had talked about the difficulties of operation because they've had to reroute or redirect their aircraft to fly longer routes, which obviously takes more time, costs them more fuel, just to avoid the conflict region. He says that there's some cancellations in bookings also due to the conflict. We also spoke to the CEO of, and chairman of Egypt Air Holding, who says that there's been some cancellations as well on their end, but it's not at a critical phase right now where he's very worried about it, but something that they're keeping a close eye on certainly at the moment. In terms of the aircraft manufacturers, we had talked to Boeing's CEO of commercial airplanes, Mr. Stanley Deal, who said that in his discussions with airline customers, they are not seeing a major impact on their demand globally, but that there continues to be appetite for aircraft, and that continues to be a conversation that they're having. He is especially hopeful of selling more of his 777X wide-body aircraft, which is due to come to the market in 2025. Emirates, of course, being the biggest customer for that, but he's hopeful that there's a broader market out there globally as well for this particular model.
Well, thank you so much, Dina, for your valuable insight. I know you're a very busy woman. You have a lot to be doing, so we're going to let you go. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, that's it for this week's episode of A Closer Look, brought to you from right here at the Dubai Airshow 2023. Now, don't forget, you can read all of our in-depth stories about what's been going on this week on our website. And if you'd like to watch any of our previous episodes, you can find them all on our YouTube channel.